Welcome back to Southern Draw, your new go-to sports podcast, in for episode 11. Hope y'all are all having a good day today. Don't forget to hit that mash that like button or subscribe button. Thank y'all for joining us. I am joined today with my co-hosts Rod and Nick. How are we doing, boys?
Doing fantastic. I'm in that weird point you very rarely get it as an adult where you're between jobs and you don't have to worry about anything. I got no responsibilities. Don't have to go to work tomorrow. It's kind of like a spring break. So it's great. Could not be better.
See, and I'm in a similar situation, but I'm on the opposite end of that where I just started a job. So it's a little bit crazy for me. I used to have so much free time and now I have none. So
Yeah, welcome to the real world. The rest of us.
I'm about 3 years late compared to everyone else, but that's okay.
We're proud of him though. He got one. So he probably put out about 50 applications. Only needed to get one, so he got it.
Yeah. I kept getting rejected for undisclosed reasons. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that's been fun. What Matt, Nick, anything else going on with y'all?
Not really. Just normal go around work. And I guess just paying attention to everything in college football and just basically sports world right now. It's the dead period. So surviving Wimbledon being blasted all over ESPN.
Yeah, there's a good match today though, but yeah, it's pretty dead right now. We're so close though. We're under 50 days until college football. NFL training camp's probably 2 weeks away a little bit. Preseason's going to be coming up beginning of August, so not too much longer to wait before everything starts kicking off.
This feels like one of the longer off seasons in recent memory. Like it's just dragging and dragging and dragging.
I think it's because there hasn't been really any like blockbuster things that have happened, I guess. There's been some things, but I feel like this has been kind of a slow, that's why it feels like a slower off season for most of all this.
Yeah, not a lot of trades in really any sport.
And the turnover's
Nothing
been pretty bland for new coaches and stuff of that nature.
Yeah. And then just like in sports in general, there's been nothing like crazy happen really, like with players all that much. So I don't know. Yeah, very dead.
WNBA All-Star game was yesterday. That was pretty notable.
Yeah, should we start the show off by talking about Sabrina?
Hey, bro, she went off.
I'm not gonna lie, that was
wild.
insane.
Was it 38 of 40 or something? And she hit every single money ball.
It was like 25 of 27. She hit, I think, every shot except for one money ball and another one.
Damn,
but
checking me here.
I could do that, honestly.
It was awesome. It was elite shooting performance from her.
Oh, she scored 37 out of 40 possible points.
Yeah.
So she only missed one.
She missed
2 shots, one money ball and a normal ball.
But it's the highest scoring in 3-point NBA or WNBA.
I saw people on Twitter were like hating on her and be like, put her at the men's 3-point line and see how she does. I was like, it's not how that works at all.
We'll let them cook though, I hear what they're saying.
I know you hear what they're saying, but
hear them out. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. Do y'all want to jump into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, I guess we'll talk about college sports. I think this first story, episode 10, our takes on this are aging pretty poorly, I would have to say.
I thought he was going to get fired.
Yeah. So, Matt, you did say Pat Fitzgerald would get
fired. It's because it's a school like Northwestern is the reason he got fired. If this was at a different school that wasn't like a private school like that, it would have been a different situation.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm not shocked. You're right. I mean, we should have seen it coming with somewhere like Northwestern. Some more stuff came out of the hazing stuff too. Players saying about like toxic culture or whatever. I'm not sure how much truth there is to that, but obviously like Northwestern's they took that into their consideration. But Pat Fitzgerald released a letter from his lawyer, like a statement, and basically it sounds like Northwestern had told him like the extent of the punishment was going to be the 2-week suspension that they originally decided on, and then they just came back and fired him without any other notice, which I thought was pretty crazy.
Apparently they knew about a lot of that stuff before that story even got released by that Northwestern journal.
Wow.
Apparently it had already been known, like that stuff had been known, and they were getting ahead of it with the suspension. And then it just all blew up, and then they had I guess it was a new president or something that Northwestern had when this all ended up coming out. And hasn't even talked to the media, really. He hasn't like sat down and done a press conference or anything. He's been like hiding away, avoiding it, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that Fitz is I think him and his lawyer are gonna take Northwestern for a lot of money. A lot of money. His lawyer's the guy who won the Duke lacrosse case. If y'all remember that, we were pretty young when that case happened, but very high profile lawyer with a really big history of winning a bunch of high profile cases that are kind of in this realm of behavioral problem, I guess would be the way to put it. But I mean, because Northwestern, they do not seem organized whatsoever about how they handle this. Like we said, with the 2-week suspension, like you mentioned, Matt, and then, new bodies in. And the thing that really bothers me is, how are you going to fire the head coach and then keep all the assistants?
Yeah,
that makes
literally.
no sense.
And if anyone would have known, it most likely would have been the assistants more so than the head coach.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because assistants are in the locker room way more than the actual head coaches. And then they made the defense coordinator the interim. I don't know what they're going to do full time, but that seems really.
I think since they already knew about this, I know this is a weird way to put it and might get twisted wrong, but I think this was oddly like a hit job to get rid of them, even though they already knew this. And it's bad, the stuff that happened, but apparently they already knew this information and they kept them and all this. So I think once the media backlash started, it made it easier to get rid of them with a new regime coming into Northwestern.
I think so too, honestly, because we talked about it because the baseball coach got fired. Northwestern's baseball coach got fired as well for something similar, some similar stuff that went on. I think, Matt, you're the one that said it. I think the new president of Northwestern just wants to clean house, wants his people in there. And that, I think you're pretty much right. Hit job, basically program wide, it sounds like.
He still should have been punished for the stuff that happened, but I think the extent, and I get why people want him fired. I can see why people want that. But when you look at the whole thing, I don't necessarily think he should have been fired.
No, I agree with you. I don't think I still stand by saying he should not have been fired. Obviously,
the people claim the investigation, they said this stuff happened, and they keep quoting the investigation that said he should have been fired. But the investigation that you keep quoting and talking about why he should have been fired even said in its own investigation that he had he didn't know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and his track record, he's a legend at Northwestern College. He's in the college football Hall of Fame. I mean, it's as far as we can tell, other than this, has always done things right. The players and former players always say how much of a culture builder he is and how much they love playing for him. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot more behind the scenes to this than we really know about.
Yeah, that's why I think, because of how disorganized they are, that's why I think he's going to run them for just tons of money.
Yeah, like you said, apparently, I don't know if this is correct, but I saw something is the lawyer you're talking about is high profile. Apparently, he's the best lawyer in Chicago or the state or something as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's the real deal. Yeah, I think Nick, I agree. He's going to get a lot of money. It wouldn't shock me if he got most of his contract. I don't know how many more years that was left.
I think he got a lot of money, though.
I think he got an extension after they made the Big Ten championship a couple years ago. But yeah, I think he'll get most of that contract back because it seems like they've done him dirty a little bit. But
yeah, and
it'll be interesting to watch it play out and see how it affects. I mean, I don't think Northwestern was going to be any good this year, but
no, they were going to maybe not win a conference game. But he had $42 million left on the deal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's north of 30 of that.
That's a lot of money.
The kind of comical thing that's associated with his firing is that apparently Coach O said he would be interested if reached out to, which is hilarious considering some of the things that happened at LSU under Coach O.
Yeah. Yeah, that paying players. and cover up similar.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the worst thing Northwestern could do.
Do you imagine Coach O in Chicago?
Dude, he would not fit in at all. It'd be funny though. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But so other controversies in college football, Tennessee has a lot of violations in football under Jeremy Pruitt. So Jeremy Pruitt received a 6-year show cause for paying recruits. It's like something like over 100 players. And just on Jeremy Pruitt alone, he's 6-year show cause. And if he's hired by any team, he has to be suspended while on and still on staff for an entire year.
God almighty.
So that's him alone. And then Tennessee, I don't have the stats on me. I don't know if y'all have the stats pulled up with all their punishments, but it's like, I mean, vacated how many seasons a win?
It's they only lost 11 wins though, but 5-year probation, 28 scholarships lost over the probation period, which they've already started themselves, and then obviously the show calls that basically just possibly ended Pruitt's career, which in my opinion, rightfully so.
Yeah,
He deserves it.
Coach Cornbread.
There's some major cheating goes on. The worst
And he's
part
nuts. How do you, if you're cheating that
yeah,
hard,
that's what I was
how do you
gonna
mess
say.
it up that bad?
If you're cheating like that and you not making bowl games, like, and being that bad, like, they should just ban Pruitt from the sport entirely. Like,
For being that bad. Not
They
even
should have known they were
being
cheating
bad.
when Will Friend was getting like all 5-star offensive line recruits
Yeah.
across the board. So that guy
Yeah.
cannot recruit. I feel like for the rest of his coaching career, he's not been able to recruit at a high level, but he was getting 5 stars in like crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
In hindsight, it was pretty obvious that that was
extremely obvious in hindsight. This was the McDonald's bag bullshit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Handing recruits money in McDonald's bag
I think it was like they had like 18 overall or somewhere around that number, level 1 violations. And if they didn't like self-report, they could have gotten very close to being lack of institutional control. I mean, this is, when you look at this is insanely serious stuff. I will say they got off scot-free basically, and the $8 million fine for a school like Tennessee, that's nothing. Don't try to tell me that money means anything. So, but I think it's fine. I think they should have been punished worse, but I'm glad that there's no postseason ban. But what they did deserves a postseason ban, but none of the people there or the kids that are there deserve that ban. But the problem is, I think the NCAA, I know it's hard to get these investigations done quickly, but they need to be done as fast as possible, in my opinion, when we're talking about things like this, to affect the people who are actually involved with it, rather than what they've done in the past, which is what I think they avoided here, is affecting people that had no relation to all of it. But it's a weird situation with how football is now, but I don't know. It's weird because shit, we had an undefeated season in '93 that didn't get to watch a single game on TV or anything because we gave a player a steak.
Yeah. Yeah, they just don't, the NCAA really, I mean, just lets you get away with pretty much anything now. If Tennessee can cheat that much and not get suspended from the playoff or postseason at all, then I mean, teams can get away with anything.
I think it also helps with them being very successful last year as well.
Yeah. I
see that for sure.
I also wonder how much they take into account, and maybe they don't at all, but most of their cheating was what, from paying players, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how much they look at, okay, they were cheating from this point to this point and paying players. Now in today's game, you can pay players however much you want.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how much they go back and say, oh, well, we're punishing them for something that's completely legal now.
But still, at the time, though, you are breaking the said rules regardless of it.
Right.
Now, like the school allowing it to happen. So, like, if there is a way of cheating now, I guess that's the way you can look. You can look at it. I see what you're saying, though. That argument makes complete sense as well, which is why I think that also played into not punishing the kids. But my whole take of this is the NCAA needs to get these done as fast as possible and get the punishment out as fast as possible, regardless of people say these situations need to take time and you don't need to rush them. In terms like this, you have to rush them because any punishment is just going to affect people farther down the road than the people who it should actually punish.
Yeah,
which is
I
hard
agree
when you have
100%.
a situation where everything's turnover every year. So
Yeah.
you just got to get it done fast as possible. Like,
Yeah.
how long did this take? This took a ridiculous amount of time.
4 years,
Forever.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, example from our experience, the Nike Adidas FBI scandal that went on while we were at Auburn, and Auburn caught a postseason ban after everyone involved was gone, and we had two of our best players suspended when it really wasn't even their fault. So
Yeah.
just examples like that, when you fire the coach that was involved and no one else had any knowledge of it, and then you still get punished, just kind of crazy to me. So you're right, Matt. I mean, there's got to be punish the people responsible and not the institution or program as a whole, because
Unless the institution obviously is along with
allowing it,
Tennessee's
right?
case kind of almost was.
Yeah,
They got to a very dangerous level of cheating.
yeah. Because I mean, if
They got lack of institutional control, there could have been serious shit that gone down that happened to Tennessee football.
Yeah. I mean, they really did catch a break too, because the momentum they built last year just for the state of their program the last 20 years is huge to get back on track after so long. If they had caught a postseason ban right now with all the hype that's surrounding them, I mean, that's a program killer.
That's what the fine is supposed to be, I think, is the amount of money they would make from like postseason appearances and stuff.
Oh, really?
The fine is supposed to resemble.
Well,
or how much they would spend,
that may be, and that's worth it. Like if Tennessee goes this year and wins a national championship, I mean, no one's going to care that they don't make money from it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody will, but the fans
will be a booster who will go in here and be like, "Here's $8 million out of my paycheck."
Yeah,
you like.
Maybe an outside the box take on this whole situation, but maybe if I'm a Tennessee fan and I look back at Jeremy Pruitt's time at Tennessee, I feel maybe a little bit better. He was trying to win. He was doing everything he could. I mean, he's a bad coach, but he was trying to get 5 stars on his team. He
Honestly,
was, paying everyone. I love that.
The NCAA did other schools a favor by giving Pruitt that cause. Now he can't go and just absolutely ruin some other program by being a terrible coach. Even though he can pay players now, he still can't coach. But the only thing he'll do now is probably go to Bama and be Saban's like lawn chair or something.
Yeah, I was surprised he already wasn't at Alabama.
I'm sure they'll. I mean, it'll
be Fitz and Pruitt will be at Bama next year.
I mean, there's a non-zero chance that actually happens too. But we'll see. Yeah, pretty crazy. Tennessee fans, you should definitely be thankful, but you should also be a little mad because of how bad y'all were for those years that was going on. Really the way to sum it up.
Definitely.
Tennessee's history is incredible from our lifetime.
Yeah, they're a very funny program.
They definitely are. Another thing that I saw pop up on social media this week, and I know we touched on it in a group text, but Lincoln Riley had another image shared of some of his meat smoking. If you recall, I think it was last summer or maybe the summer prior, he posted his brisket on Twitter and got flamed to hell, ratioed out of his mind because it just looked like the driest, most I don't even know how to describe how bad his brisket looked.
That brisket looked like when you see somebody post like, "This is how we do brisket in New York."
Yeah.
Or how we do barbecue in New York, and it's just like the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. That's what that brisket looked like.
Yeah. Brisket was really bad. So he posted a picture of ahi tuna, and I guess he tried to sear it, but he did not do a very good job of it. It looks very similar to his brisket, apart from obviously the fact that it's tuna. And I think he just needs to go spend a week or two, maybe more, and just spend it with someone who knows what the hell they're doing and teach him how to not fuck up very expensive cuts of meat. Or, just go on
hire
YouTube.
someone. You're Lincoln Riley. Someone make it for you.
Yeah. I honestly couldn't tell what the tuna was until I saw someone say that's tuna.
Yeah.
I thought it was like
I
pork
knew
or
it was
something.
tuna just by how it was, or tuna by how it was cooked. That's the only reason, but it was very hard to differentiate it between other foods.
That's when you know you're a bad cook. Like, dude, that's embarrassing.
Stick to hot dogs in the microwave, Lincoln. That might be your go-to.
It's really, really bad. And like he has all that money. Again, like hire someone to cook for you and take pictures of it and claim it as your own if you're
Especially
really
in
like that
California.
into it. Or just like you have the money, go like spend a week or two with a pit master and figure out, how you're actually supposed to cook. But I don't know. It's just another strike against Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, this guy, man, it's ridiculous. He needs to figure shit out. But I don't know.
I got one thing to add before we switch out of college football. What would be, excluding Auburn, obviously, because we would be like, we'd love for them to be the national championship. But if you could pick a national championship scenario between two teams this year, who would you pick? Like, what would your, I guess, dream matchup that you would like to see?
Excluding Auburn?
Yeah, like of two schools that would meet in the championship. What do you would be like your dream matchup for this year?
Mine's gonna be a little out of the box. Okay. Wisconsin and Florida State.
That'd be weird.
It would
Well,
be
Wisconsin's not going to do better than 6-6 this year, but
we said dream. I just think that would be cool. I like both their uniforms. I think it'd be a cool matchup. Different
dream
style of
matchup.
football.
Well, like just for this season, it doesn't have to be like all time, but like something
Yeah,
that
no,
you
this
enjoy
just
seeing right now. Yeah.
this year. Give me fuck. Give me an LSU Florida State rematch in the Natty.
That would be cool.
Okay, that would be good.
Mine's Penn State, Tennessee. I feel like that would be an electric matchup.
Okay, so if we're
James
doing
Franklin finally breaks the barrier and Tennessee gets back to the top of college football.
that would be fun. Okay, so if we're given a realistic like a matchup that could possibly happen, is that what it is?
Well, it's just like what are the two schools you would want to make it, I guess, is basically like you're like I said, a dream matchup was like that.
Let me think. I'd like to see Texas and Penn State. I think that would be a cool national championship.
I agree. I want to see Texas do well. I like Texas.
Imagine A&M in Texas.
I was just thinking that.
Championship.
If A&M actually put it together and they make their SEC championship, even if they lose to Georgia, it's like their only loss.
Oh,
that would probably set up the best storyline for the 2024 season going with because you'd hear all year versus the winner of that game. It's like who's going to win.
I couldn't imagine having to play. You're right. I guess I don't know. I guess Florida State are the only rivals that have ever played in a championship game. I guess Miami probably played Florida State. I mean, I couldn't imagine losing to your rival in a championship game. And
if you consider
to cope with that would be the worst thing in the world.
I guess if you consider Alabama and
LSU,
I guess they would be big ones. They played in 2011.
Yeah. I've got one. Oregon and UCF.
God, that's night, please. All right, we're done.
Gus Malzahn versus Bo Nix, baby.
That would be awful to watch.
That would be hilarious.
God.
John Reese Plumlee and Bo Nix going head to head. Two elite quarterbacks.
We're going to mute you. All right. Let's move on to NFL before we make up any stupid shit like that again.
Another D-Hop going to a team with an elite quarterback just like Plumlee or Bo Nix, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, so DeAndre Hopkins signed with the Titans today. 2 years, $26 million, up to $32 million with incentives and all that. What's our initial reaction?
This is a waste of money for another poverty franchise making another poverty franchise decision. DeAndre Hopkins making another bad decision considering Ryan Tannehill is your quarterback. He's liable to get hurt, and then you have Malik Willis and Will Levis. One of those two. Why would you go here? Why?
I don't get it. I don't know what
he definitely went for money instead of
yeah.
Contention at all. But I'm fine with it because if he did end up working out or anything, I'm glad he didn't go to New England. But it just blows my Titans need to scrap, like just clean out, keep Vrabel, obviously, but like clean the roster up, trade stuff away, have a not so great year. And your contention period that you had, that you somehow you got lucky as hell to have that 1 seed when that even happened anyways. Like you just got to restart. And this doesn't help doing that at all.
Yeah, one of the worst things NFL teams can do is make moves kind of like this where you're just treading water and you're never going to be a real contender, but you're never going to be horrible. You got to just clean house. You got to tank for a year or two, as bad as it sounds to tank, but you have to do it to acquire talent and picks and things like that and free up money so you can get high profile free agents when you're in a position to actually contend.
Yeah. Yeah, this signing I don't think makes sense for the Titans. I think the Titans should have traded Derrick Henry and, like you said, started a rebuild. But now, they age out with Henry's going to age out at some point soon. I mean, he can't be at the top of what he is forever. So his value is going to go down.
And the value they would have gotten for him would have been huge if they traded him this offseason with teams that want running backs. If any offseason recently, this has kind of been one where teams need running backs. Like the Jets want another one. Obviously, we want one. Denver, New England, basically
Buffalo,
the NFC East.
Buffalo needs a running back too.
Yeah.
Buffalo's like, we have like 6 running backs on the roster.
We have like 7.
The thing too about this, especially like you're saying, get rid of Derrick Henry. You can't keep him, at the volume of carries you give him as your entire offense. You need to deal him. And then you look at your roster and you look at your past 2 years drafts. You have Malik Willis and Will Levis. Obviously, Malik was horrible last year, but you have 2 young guys. I would get rid of Tannehill as well. I would run with the 2 young guys and see if one of them shows anything. If Levis ends up being good, you ride him for a year or two, build around him, and then you're in a position to contend when you have a quarterback on their first contract and you have the finances to put good weapons around him and build the defense and put yourself in a position to make a run. But with Tannehill, with Derrick Henry, it's just, I don't see it. And, Taylor Lewan is gone too now. I mean, they're just.
We got one of their better linebackers, I think, this offseason. I can't remember his name. I didn't really pay attention to that, but.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it's bad for.
Yeah, we got, I think it was, David Long.
Oh, yeah. He is good.
We got David Long. 2-year deal, $11 million.
Yeah. Yeah. So they just don't, there's no real star power other than Derrick Henry and Hopkins on the Titans. And for DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, we talked about it. It's like Tennessee's where wide receivers go to die. You had Julio Jones. You had Randy Moss was on the Titans. Now, given that was like his 3rd team that year, but still. And then it was like Terrell Owens, or was it? Oh no, it was Andre Johnson, another guy who played for the Houston Texans as well. So just kind of wide receiver purgatory.
I think that ownership, I guess, just doesn't want to face reality that their little window they had closed, even though it wasn't a true championship window. I'll argue that with anybody, but I just don't think they want to go through that process when I think they felt like they were close. They're not accepting the reality of the situation at hand.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not there. I mean, I think they win at most 5-6 games this year.
They're just lucky they're in the worst division in the history of the NFL, but the Jags
are up and
Colts
coming.
Won't be as bad. So, I mean, you at least get the Texans, but the Colts will be better, and the Jags
will be better too.
Team.
Yeah, the Texans.
But they should be able to beat them, and just with the rosters, but still, it's.
I mean, looking at that division though, I think the Jags, it's a lock.
Yeah, certainly.
The Jags could potentially go undefeated in division.
Unless Anthony Richardson just goes off, like has an insane. This is hypotheticals. I'm just saying, like if that happens, but if the Colts O-line goes back to what it should be, and the injuries limit themselves on offense, and Anthony Richardson can just play all right or above average, they could still be a wild card team just with talent alone on that offense. They were the Colts last year were basically the equivalent of Texas A&M.
Yeah, just underwhelmed.
Yeah, because I thought they were gonna be incredible last year.
Because I've been expressing my hate for the Titans mostly today. Who would you guys say are your bottom 3 franchises in the NFL?
Like your least favorite or the worst?
You think are the worst in the NFL, not least favorite.
Okay.
At now or all time?
Just now, right now, as it stands today.
Cardinals would be my first. It's just a terribly run organization, and everything's always ends up being a shit show. 2 right now, probably Raiders. Just they don't have any idea what's going on, and that whole Josh Jacobs thing going on right now. And tomorrow's the franchise tag deadline. Could be a whole nother story for next episode. 3's kind of tough. I don't know, because the Texans suck, but they're not like they actually look like they have upside.
Yeah, my first 2, Matt. I agree on Arizona and Vegas. I'll say my 3rd would be Denver right now.
That's fair.
Denver's extremely poorly run.
I think they're lucky that they have the talent they have from the last few drafts for their defense. That helps them with it.
I don't know if I can see. I hate Denver. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if I can see them in the bottom 3.
Maybe
I think they're bottom 3.
I feel like the Browns are there, even though they're more successful than they have been.
I don't know. I feel like they're
the way
up.
The Browns are run, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
The 3rd one's tough because I feel like that's a rotational one by year.
Yeah.
But right now, the Raiders look just insane, trending down, and the Cardinals are just, I mean, of all time, they are the worst run franchise as well, and they still are, which is incredible. But yeah, 3rd, I guess, could just be interchangeable.
Yeah, I like that answer. I agree with Raiders and Cardinals for sure. And then the 3rd, I don't know, kind of like is your opinion more so than others. Like you make a good argument for the Broncos. Also the Browns, I can see it too, strictly off being a franchise that's willing to give Deshaun Watson that kind of money. You're just fucked. I would want to throw the Falcons in there just because I hate the Falcons and they suck, but their draft strategy is the worst.
We're talking all time. The Falcons are in there.
The Falcons' draft strategy is horrendous.
I don't know. For what they want to do, it makes sense, but like in terms of like modern football, it doesn't. So I see what you're saying. But I don't think they're bottom 3. I mean, they're not great. They're bottom 5, I think, but not bottom 3. I don't know. It's hard to figure out the 3rd. You're right. I would have been the Jets until the last 2 years, but the Jets,
they're not even 2 years.
They're on top of their shit lately. So I don't know, but we talked about the Raiders a lot. Oh, actually, before we move on to that, one funny thing about DeAndre Hopkins signing with Tennessee is next week the Titans are unveiling their newest version of their Oilers throwbacks. So DeAndre Hopkins will get to wear the Oilers throwbacks after he played most of his career with Houston, but he won't be wearing the uniforms in Houston. So that's just kind of funny.
That is a funny little kind of, I don't even know, fact, I guess, but that is kind of cool. I like the Oilers throwbacks. The Oilers color scheme is so awesome.
So good. They belong to anyone arguing that the Texans should wear them is wrong. They belong to Tennessee. I get it.
And they literally have the rights.
Yeah. Obviously, the Oilers is one of the like best brands that the NFL's ever had. So it is a shame that it's not like a permanent franchise anymore, but that's just what happens in sports, you know. It's like the Supersonics in the NBA, like one of the best brands in sports, but unfortunately does not get to be used consistently. But okay, so enough about the Titans because nobody wants to hear about that. They suck. But we were talking about the Raiders, and obviously Jon Gruden was the head coach of the Raiders for a while, but I don't know who wrote this for the rundown, but if you want to expand on it, but he said he plans to burn down the NFL's house.
Yeah, so it was a recent report that stated he intended to burn the house down in the NFL. and that if he is successful in getting his lawsuit against the NFL to trial, they will ultimately be able to track down exactly who leaked the emails. So take this with a grain of salt. This is also a Mike Florio report. So Florio kind of tends to
it's like the biggest bullshitter in football media.
He kind of tends to blur facts a little bit, but I love Florio. You should like Florio of all people, Rod, because y'all kind of just send out bullshit conspiracies.
We have some disagreements on other things. He's too busy shitting up the timeline most of the time on Twitter, but
so Gruden thinks that the NFL office leaked the emails, and the problem with a lawsuit like this that Gruden is pushing is it could kind of expose a lot of skeletons in the NFL's closet that they don't necessarily want. I mean, let's be real here. The NFL is definitely corrupt to a certain extent. All big leagues are corrupt. Gruden, I mean, truthfully, Gruden, I feel like kind of got done a little dirty.
He did 100%. I stand with Jon Gruden. Just kidding. He did get dirty. I mean, if you look at the contents of the email, it's bad, but like there's been a lot worse stuff that's been done in the NFL. Like, got like players committing domestic violence and stuff like that. If you're getting fired over like crude jokes and emails, it's a little extreme, but he has a right to be mad. But yeah, it's going to be crazy because they said that his emails getting leaked is what led to a lot of the stuff happening with the Commanders. I guess I don't know what name they were at the time all this leaked, but the emails led to Washington getting sold too. So there's got to be a lot of stuff in there that the NFL doesn't want to come out.
I saw something last week. I don't know how much truth there is behind it, but apparently there's something going on that could stop the sale of the Commanders or something.
Ooh, really?
It was just like a short headline somewhere. I can't remember exactly, or there could be an issue in the sale.
That would be like the fourth time the Commanders or the football team or the Redskins have been like ready to be sold, but something has held it up, and it's just still going to go back to being Dan Snyder's
here it is.
team.
Serious legal issues related to the Gruden lawsuit threatened to complicate the deal.
Wow.
That's what I saw. Legal issues could complicate the sale.
Who does the NFL think they are when one of the highest paid players in their league has committed sexual assault against like 80 women? One of the star wide receivers who plays for the Miami Dolphins, loves hitting people, including women.
He can hit. He
likes coming on boats and punching people and telling them I play for the Dolphins.
I think you should leave episode. He can hit.
But seriously, dude, it's the NFL is so corrupt. Jon Gruden, okay, you sent some crude emails. I guarantee you there's worse things going on every day in other facilities.
My favorite thing, did you see where it was Gruden talking to Sean Payton apparently, and he was like, Gruden paid this big fine to the NFL that apparently the coaches were supposed to pay, and Sean Payton was like, none of us paid that. We didn't have to pay that. And Gruden was like, what the hell? I paid it.
It was about I'm going to be careful with my words here, but it was about the virus, and it was about masking or something. And yeah,
Gruden, I remember that.
And every other coach that got hit with the same fine was like, fuck no, we're not paying that. It wasn't just Sean Payton, it was like all of them. He was like, that's what Payton told Gruden, that he was like, no, we didn't pay that. It was like $200,000 or something like that too. It was a crazy amount of money. So
my favorite like memory of that era in the NFL was it Andy Reid wearing his like the face mask, like the clear plastic one that kept on fogging up on the sideline?
He looked like he was about to drop out of an ODST pod in Halo or something.
But yeah, what other hypothetical here? What skeletons do you think the NFL is trying to hide?
I'm not commenting on this situation because we're gonna have some NFL agents show up at our house or something.
The Dan Snyder definitely has a lot of like really dark shit. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Snyder and like Jeffrey Epstein weren't connected.
even the stuff that came out about like just Washington, the stuff that did come out, like that stuff was crazy. I can't even imagine the stuff that no one even knows about.
I'm trying to think of like there's probably some stuff with Carolina because remember their old for an example, Jerry Richardson was his name. He's passed away now, but when they drafted Cam Newton, the first thing he asked him was like, "You don't have any tattoos, do you?" And Cam said no, and he was like, "Good. Make sure you keep that hair short too." So that just kind of gives you a little idea about Jerry Richardson. So there's probably some emails from Mr. Richardson as well. I'm trying to think. Maybe it'd be interesting to see what has been said in the emails about like Deflategate and what the like league offices think
They
about
should
that.
investigate Tom Brady and think about taking away some of his career wins.
Specifically, 7 of them.
I'd like to see the Mike McDaniel emails after Tua was concussed.
Ooh,
Mike McDaniel doesn't email. He talks to people in person. He's a respectable guy.
he's got he seems like a guy that would use like a pager. You know what I mean?
Mike McDaniel definitely texts everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's just like someone's like, "How's Tua doing?" And Mike McDaniel replies like, "He got knocked the fuck out."
He's somebody who like would
with a little emoji like
Like the skull and crossbone emoji.
Yeah, there's probably some bad stuff. So we'll see if Jon Gruden.
I can imagine the
Honestly,
emails
support
during
him
the
in
Dolphins with Richie Incognito and like the assistant coach was snorting coke in the
yeah.
locker room. That whole era when we had Jay Cutler, just a tough 4-year stretch.
Yeah.
I support Gruden just because, at least in this lawsuit, because it would just be so much content if a bunch of shit got leaked. Because a lot of it would just be hilarious.
It would be. It would be very funny. It would be a lot. Imagine if they just all become public record for everyone to read. That would be great.
I hope it happens. There will be a settlement though.
All right. Well, switching over to another lawsuit kind of deal. Alvin Kamara's felony charges going away. I remember everyone was all up in arms about him. I drafted him in fantasy football last year. Again, no one cares about fantasy football. But it was like, oh, he's not going to play this year. He's going to go to jail and he got in a fight in Las Vegas. So he's pled guilty for a lesser misdemeanor charge.
That's crazy. If you've seen the video of that, they like he messes that guy up with his friends like really bad.
I wanted to segue from talking about Tua getting knocked the fuck out to say, speaking of getting knocked the fuck out, Alvin Kamara. This is just like another classic example of if you are rich enough, the law does not apply to you. You can do whatever you want. You throw enough money at it, it'll go away.
That's why Tyreek's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Even though his hitting was a lot different than Kamara's hitting in the situation. Slapping someone in the back of the head is a lot different than just absolutely beating the living shit out of somebody.
Well, even like Antonio Brown too, all the shit he's done, and he's still like, what's happened to him? Nothing.
Like he's done some outrageous things.
Yeah. Like Henry Ruggs is the only one that I can really remember. I guess you have to kill somebody to actually get punished, is what it seems like. Aaron Hernandez and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's no coming back from what Ruggs did.
Yeah,
typically, I think murder will put you away.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like up to that point, like Deshaun Watson, with all the stuff he did.
That's crazy that Deshaun Watson's not.
He got close to almost getting in trouble, but eventually it played out.
If you were a normal person and did what Deshaun Watson did, you would be in prison forever.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point, Nick. Like these guys can basically do whatever they want except for murder. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm gonna take him in fantasy. He's gonna be a killer in fantasy. Pair him with like Derrick Henry, good 1-2 punch. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a little bit. I wanted to talk about this next topic, but the Bucks this week unveiled their creamsicle uniforms. They look really good. I'm a fan of them. I think y'all saw them too. Classic uniform. Some people don't like them because the Bucks lost like 200 games and only won like 100 while they wore them. But who cares? They look good. Reason I put this in there because I wanted to mention it's going to segue us into our next topic, but it's such a shame that the Patriots and the Buccaneers brought back their two iconic throwbacks like right around the time when Brady left. Sucks we didn't get this. I mean, he wore the throwbacks with the Patriots once, but not this version, which looks the best.
I think it makes sense because they're both going back to their normal form they were without Brady.
So they're going to go back to winning as much as they did in those uniforms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But I bring up Brady because Antoine Winfield, I actually have a funny personal connection to him. Aubrey, my wife, went to high school with him, so they know each other. But he said on a podcast that he wouldn't be shocked if the Buccaneers were calling around trying to see if Brady wanted to come back. He thought it was a possibility that he would come back and play sometime this year. So
It's so exhausting.
Is that a direct quote?
Huh?
Is that a direct quote from him or like someone speculating just to have a
No,
piece
it was from him. It was from Antoine. He was saying something like,
and that must mean Baker and Kyle suck.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of like Levante David and a couple other Bucks players said Baker Mayfield's like taking over as the leader of the team and it's been really helpful.
I mean, he's definitely a leader. He's always had that capability.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he is successful. I don't, now that Brady's gone, I don't cheer. I liked the Bucks before Brady and then they got him. So now I can cheer for them and their incredible uniforms besides the creamsicles. But
you don't like the creamsicles?
I love their uniforms now. Like,
I do too.
Those are some of my favorite uniforms ever.
Yeah.
I love that like brown color they have or whatever.
Yeah,
that
computer.
Metallic looking like bleach wood or something. I don't even know what it's called.
They call it pewter, but yeah. Their uniforms are already top 10 in the league. I think the creamsicles are great as like a once or twice a year alternate. Just perfect. Their whole wardrobe's great, but yeah, what do y'all think? Do y'all think it's a possibility Tom Brady comes back?
No, just go and retire, man. Just take it easy. Relax.
Dude, I don't know. His like off the field news since he retired has been kind of rough. Like he got divorced. And then there's that party that the big 76ers guy, Michael Rubin, threw with all the celebrities. And he was hanging out with Kim Kardashian all night. And then there was a report that he lost almost $50 million from a cryptocurrency investment.
The
FTX.
FTX, yeah.
I mean,
so he may need to come back to football to have some.
Those are all W's in my opinion. He doesn't know how to live outside of football because he never did. So
yeah,
sucks to suck, Brady. I mean, that's on you.
Yeah, but
all W's. I hope he does date Kim K though, so it'll just somehow end very badly.
How would that end?
I really hate Tom Brady. I don't know. Every time Kim K decides to date someone, shit goes down or
there's a Deflategate joke to be made with this, but it's wild that we used to just get like FTX commercials during NFL games, and then they just completely tanked.
Yeah, it's kind of bad that I remember the commercials. It was like him and his ex-wife Giselle, like talking about how they were like calling people about cryptocurrency. It's like you got to get in on this. And you don't think about that until like the headlines about it come out about him losing all that money, but you're like, oh wait, that's what that was.
Yeah, there was a couple other players too. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but a lot of people got hit pretty hard by that.
Yeah, well, it was with Brady. He didn't even invest, like he didn't buy cryptocurrency. It was the company stock.
Yeah,
and it like obviously that company like imploded, and he lost a shitload of money. He's been going through it, man. That's what I'm saying. He needs to come back. Football's the only place where he's happy. But yeah, poor Brady. I know we all feel bad for him.
He's fine.
Yes, he's just been up against it his whole life.
Yeah, poor Brady.
Who
do you think has more plastic surgery, Tom Brady or Kim Kardashian?
It's Tom Brady.
Brady's got so much, dude.
When last year when it was like, what was it, like week 1 or 2, the way he looked.
He looks like an alien.
Yeah, he just looked like
I bet his
hollowed
face
out.
like can't even move. He's probably got like a remote control in his pocket that makes him smile.
He looks like handsome Squidward.
Yeah, he did. God, that was scary. Dude, if they start dating, that's a disaster. Those two people like do not fit together at all.
Need them to have kids.
No.
You would just abandon it.
Yeah, he's done that before, hasn't he?
Tuck rule.
Tom Brady's stop worshiping him, people.
Why? He just owns the Dolphins. That's something else.
No, he didn't. Out of all teams in the division, we were the ones who would always give him a run for his money. We beat him the most.
Well, yeah, the Dolphins and FTX gave him a run for his money. Those are the two.
Shout out FTX and your failure.
Team up. Yeah, Dolphins deserve an FTX sponsorship because they're gonna tank this year too. But
we're definitely tanking.
Yes. All right.
You might have to after your random text yesterday about Tyreek Hill.
I was trying to get
you. You dog. I knew that when you texted that, I was like, if this happened, it would be on SportsCenter right now, breaking news, and I would have like 5 notifications on my phone.
Yeah,
For context, I texted Matt yesterday randomly in our group chat. Nick was in there too, but I texted Tyreek Hill arrested for home invasion just to see if I could get a reaction. No reaction.
I was walking fish and I read that text. I was like, I know this isn't true, but I'm gonna run with it and say it is. And I was like, yes, and was just happy walking home. And then I was also like, immediately I was like, why would one of like the richest players in the NFL be?
I thought like at first when you texted he got arrested, I was like, oh gosh, was it the assault thing that just happened?
I was gonna say that, but then I was like, no, let's do something a little more outrageous.
Yeah, I don't think Tyreek's gonna be involved in home invasions. The only invasion he's gonna be doing is all over that Bills defense this fall.
He's gonna be running right past DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah. Oh, we all love DeMar Hamlin.
All right, well, switching over to touch on the NBA just a little bit. And someone who just needs to fucking relax, man. LeBron James has decided to switch numbers again. I don't know. Out of respect of Bill Russell, he's going back to 23 from 6. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
He just needs to stop, dude.
Dude, he started as 23, switched to 6 for like 2 years, and then now is back. This is the biggest like look at me like move ever. Like he just wants his name in the press. I mean, look, I get it. He probably says he's doing it for Bill Russell, and that is probably part of the reason, like subconsciously why he's doing it, but it's also like probably also regrets switching to 6 again. I don't know. It's just annoying. I'm like, I don't even know what to say about it. Just stop, LeBron. Just be normal.
And if you're going to switch numbers, just switch numbers and don't make it like a public like thing. Just
he can't not make it a public thing though. That's his personality is living in the public eye.
Yeah, we went like 2 weeks too long without having a LeBron headline. Like, come on. It's annoying.
It is annoying.
The way I feel about Tom Brady is the way Rod feels about LeBron James.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. I mean, sorry, can't stand the guy. I never watched Jordan play.
They're both very selfish. They're both very selfish individuals with insane egos.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I get it because it'd be hard not to have an ego when everyone blows smoke up your ass all the time.
LeBron's a better man than Tom Brady is, though.
I don't know about
he doesn't divorce his wives and leave kids and do all this other stuff.
Yeah, he's just like the big booty posts on Instagram.
This is why my goat is Wilt Chamberlain.
My goat is Paul George.
You and Brandon Miller.
See where Brandon Miller didn't know who was it Chris Middleton was?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was doing one of those like Instagram like filters or TikTok filters where it pops up random players out of positions to build a team. And it was Chris Middleton and some other player. And he goes, I don't know who these guys are.
See, I didn't watch the video, but I got a Bleacher Report notification about that, and he said he was just joking, but I don't believe it.
If you watch the video, he's in general or actual confusion looking at the picture of Chris Middleton. He's like,
dude,
I don't know who that is.
I feel like all the kids like I say kids.
Someone said kids now don't watch basketball like they used to, the ones that play. Which I feel like that may be the case. I don't think that's the case for all of them, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are some that just don't watch pro basketball, but they are really good basketball.
I think that like younger kids coming into the sport now, like into college, into pros, don't watch like full games as much as like we did when we were growing up. I feel
highlight packages.
Highlights, yeah. And they're gonna see all the people who get posted for highlights and just like those are the popular players now. They're not gonna know every single player now. At least that's what I think. I don't have any proof of that, but
people who are really, really good at basketball do not watch as much basketball as people who don't, or people who don't even play it. One of the guys I know, one of the best basketball players I know, never watched basketball, like ever.
I guess I get it when you're doing it that much, like you are like the show, like you don't have interest in it. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. If I was playing like a professional sport, I would want to know everybody I was going to potentially play against, you know?
If you think about like, it's kind of skewed, I guess, by the internet, but you think like the most like common like NBA fan, what they look like and like how they behave, you know, it's so far removed from anyone who's even coming close to playing basketball at a competent level.
Yeah, that's true.
So the key to being successful at basketball for anyone listening is don't ever watch basketball.
Yeah, hate basketball.
You will be very good at it.
Exactly.
Okay, this next thing is kind of a nothing, but I saw that the Suns are planning to play Bradley Beal at point guard, which I don't really get that. I guess they're trying to figure out.
It doesn't really matter who plays point guard in today's NBA. I mean, Jokic takes the ball down the court like 70% of the time in playoff games. Like, it really doesn't matter too much. Everyone's got the ball handling ability, and offenses aren't run like where, you know, the half court sets are initialized by the point guard. Like you think about like 2011 like Boston Celtics team with like Rondo being a pure point guard, setting everything up and facilitating. It's not really like that anymore. It's just kind of run and gun and high pick and rolls and shit like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I forgot he's on the Suns.
Yeah. Well, I just see stuff like that and I'm like, how is the Suns team gonna work? Like
they don't have any defense. They're all offense.
Yeah.
I have no bench either.
They're not gonna come close to sniffing a title.
Yeah.
No one's gonna touch the Nuggets.
The Suns will get blown up in like 3 years. Like eventually
it'll happen before that. NBA teams don't last that long. It'll be 2 years now. I don't know. Every time we've seen some of these projects happen the last like half decade, they only last like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like,
did you see what I think Grant Williams said to Jason Tatum or whatever the other day?
Lock him up.
They were like talking shit online, and Grant Williams. Let me get Jason's quote, but it was Grant Williams was like, "I'll just play," or talking about playing Mavericks versus Celtics. That he'll just force him to his left and play physical with him, and he'll cry to the refs. Or something.
So it's a funny little quip about Grant Williams that I know I've told y'all. So currently, it goes really back to college. I've hated Grant Williams for a very long time. I saw him at the Final Four, walked right past him in the stands, and I was like, God, I fucking hate this guy. And I don't know when he got drafted to the Celtics. It had to have been maybe the year before I moved up to New England, but he plays for the Celtics. I live in New England. I'm moving to Fort Worth, and Grant Williams got traded to the Mavericks.
He's following.
So he's following me and haunting me.
You better be careful. He knows you. He knows that you hate him. I
think everyone hates Grant Williams, right?
So here we go. Tatum told Williams, "I'm gonna bust your butt when we play Dallas." Shut up. And Williams said, Williams said, "You think you can't go left, and I'm going to be physical with you, and you'll cry to the referees." So I think it was So Jason Tatum originally told him, "You ain't this strong." So it was a picture of Grant Williams going to the Mavericks, like an edit that the Mavericks did, and Jason Tatum said, "LOL, you ain't this strong," and tagged him. And then Grant said, "You'll get like me one day." And then I guess that's how that whole thing stemmed.
I'm sure they're just playing around.
I don't know.
It'd be funny if they weren't, though.
I think they're not. I feel like Grant's definitely the kind of guy that can't take a joke.
And everyone on his
Feel
team
like-
hates him.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
right.
something that ad that I don't know how I missed. Y'all may have already heard this story. It said it was in June, but I didn't hear about it until yesterday. I'm sure this has already probably been talked about everywhere. Maybe, I don't know. But it was Stephen F. Austin's assistant bowling coach. Did y'all hear about this guy?
No.
So here, the New York Post, an assistant women's bowling coach at Stephen F. Austin State University, whose wife is the head coach of the bowling team, chose to resign after the school discovered that he had an affair with a member of the team. Steve Lemke, who's 38, is married to the head coach, Amber Lemke, who resigned from the program on April 10th. He said about the affair in the Daily Sentinel that, "I knew it was kind of a no-no, but there's no rule saying it can't happen."
That's hilarious. I just read something today about
He said there's not a law saying I'm going to go to jail for doing something like this. There's nothing in stone. I guess it's just ethics. Like, we frown upon it, but there's no rule. There's no law broken. Bro basically is just like, "Okay, guys, you got me, but I still wanted to do it."
I read today about a soccer team's owner who they were playing a match and the ref was horrible against them. And after the match, he went and slept with the ref's wife.
Whoa. That's crazy. That goes hard, honestly.
That goes so hard. And it's a win-win because now that ref can never officiate against his team because there's
Yeah, I was
like
about to
a,
say, he's
a legal
totally biased.
kind
Like
of
a
bias there.
Yeah.
He just steps on the field and immediately gives him a red card.
Yeah. All right. Y'all want to hop into trivia?
Yeah, let's do it. I need to win.
All right. So these two running backs are tied at 90 with the most fumbles in NFL history.
90 fumbles. Okay.
90 fumbles.
Damn.
These two running backs. Adrian Peterson.
No.
Okay, Matt. We'll go back and forth.
I feel like one of them's gonna be like someone you wouldn't think. Is this like all time or like
All time?
2000s or? Dude, I don't even know where to start. Eddie George. This is definitely not right, but
No, not Eddie George. One of these guys you might think of traditionally more as a fullback, but he still has over 12,000 rushing yards.
Mike Allstott.
No.
that's what
Mike
I was gonna
Allstott's
say,
now
too.
12,000 rushing yards.
Oh,
That was my guess too. That's what I was gonna say.
I just heard fullback and was like, who's the like?
You might think of him as a fullback, but he kind of was a hybrid.
Oh, Jerome Bettis.
No.
Oh, I thought that would have been a good one.
Same team as Jerome Bettis.
Oh shoot, what's his name? I know what he looks like. Dude, I don't know his name.
So
I
obviously
can picture him in my head.
Steelers and Cowboys.
Was he a player in the 80s?
Emmitt Smith, one of them.
Emmitt Smith is not one of them. One of them did play in the 70s and 80s. They both played in the 70s and 80s.
Franco Harris is.
Franco Harris is one of them.
That's who it is. That's who I was trying to think of.
Didn't he just die?
I think so. Like
Yeah, he died last
last
year.
year or 2 years ago.
Pat
I don't know
Watch,
the
Franco
That's
Cowboys.
why I knew. I didn't know who he was.
I don't know the Cowboys running back.
You guys don't know the Cowboys one? You want me to give it to you?
Initials. Give us his first letter, last of first and last name.
TD.
D.
TD.
Tony Dorsett.
Tony Dorsett. Rod with the sweep.
Man, I forgot
Let's
he was
go.
played that long ago.
That was awesome. Look at me.
That was good. That was good.
Guys, we got to come up with like a prize for trivia.
Loser has to go. Winner has to go to a Falcons game.
Fuck off. Whoever wins chooses who does trivia next week. That way we can prep for trivia longer.
You know what we should do? We'll do it this way. We'll start keeping track from next episode until Auburn plays Vandy. And then the winner of trivia gets free dinner when we're in Nashville for Auburn Vandy.
Okay, we'll do that.
Matt, you like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
All right.
Sweet. All right.
Okay. Closing thoughts. Rod, you're up.
I'm not ready. Matt.
I don't know. There's not much going on right now. Closing thought to Josh Jacobs or to the Raiders. I hope that you don't sign him to the franchise tag tomorrow, which I doubt they will, but don't do it. This Dalvin Cook situation is being overplayed. He's just trying to get more money out of the Dolphins. Pay for a more solid running back, just a little bit more expensive, and Josh Jacobs, and come join us in Miami. We need a power back. We don't need another Cadillac.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's honestly good take. Josh Jacobs, listen to him. Mine, let me think. Come up with a bold prediction. I think that the Chiefs will lose in the divisional round in the playoffs this year. That's my final thought. And then a TV suggestion for everyone. So I told y'all, but I rewatched the first season of True Detective, the single greatest. This is not everyone says this, but that's the single greatest single season of a television show ever. If you haven't watched that show, you're doing yourself a disservice. Please watch that show. It's amazing.
Absolutely agree.
Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are the two main characters. So that's really all you need to know.
It makes you want to drink some Lone Star and smoke just like tens of hundreds of cigarettes.
Yes. Matt, have you seen it?
No.
Dude.
You got to watch it.
I'm not a big TV show. I just started Mad Men like a few days ago. I've never been a big
shits
TV
on
show.
Mad Men.
I've never been a big TV show guy, so I just like started going back and watching the TV shows that everyone says you should watch, because I've been more of a movie person.
Add that. It's only 8 episodes the first season.
Yeah.
It has seasons, but the following seasons aren't nearly as good, not even close. But only 8 episodes in the first season, so worth it. You won't regret it.
Yeah. If you're gonna watch True Detective, I've only watched the first season. You need to like set your living room up, turn all your lights off, put your phone away, and just like dive into True. It's just so good, dude.
Yeah.
So my closing thoughts, I have 2 of them. They're both TV related. Another TV suggestion. I know it's a very popular show. Season 2 of The Bear is all out on Hulu. Very, very good show. It's about these characters in Chicago. They are working at a shitty restaurant in season 1. It follows how they develop, etc. And then season 2 is them turning their shitty restaurant into a nice restaurant. Really good show on Hulu. I have Hulu with ads, and it kind of sucks, but I refuse to pay for Hulu Premium. My second thought, in the first episode of Quarterback on Netflix, which I believe we're going to be reviewing at some point in the future, Marcus Mariota is getting his wife is getting an ultrasound, right? And I think that's the first time I've ever seen like video of an ultrasound, and that shit is absolutely crazy. The fact that you can like see the baby's face and like tell their body position and like see where like their feet are and why they're kicking where they're kicking, that shit is wild. It kind of made me uncomfortable.
Engineer moment. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. That's like the only good moment he had in the first episode. But because this I've only seen the first episode too, but this basically what happened with Mariota last year. It's not going to be this series is not going to be very kind to him.
No.
But it is, yeah, the ultrasounds are crazy. And there's different kinds of ultrasounds too. Like there's ones where you can see stuff, and then there's ones where you just like run it over and it's just like sound waves or whatever kind of waves it is. But yeah, pretty wild. I actually watched the first couple episodes of The Bear and did not like it. So
You gotta stick with it. It's good.
I don't know. I do like the main actor. in it. I don't remember his name, but he's a good actor.
Jeremy Allen White, I think is
Something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I have heard it's good. I need to give it another shot.
That's great. Thank you for the info on the ultrasounds. Very insightful.
I'm educating the masses on this show.
Yes, the masses.
All 50 people and listen.
Yeah, we'll have the NFL will be watching this episode.
They're gonna do like keyword searches on like YouTube and podcasts. They're gonna show up to your house, Matt.
They'll be at your house, Rob.
My house.
You brought the topic up. I disavow everything I said, NFL execs.
I avow everything that I said. I hope that Jon Gruden takes you down.
Jon Gruden shows up to Rod's front door. He's like, "You want to take this on with me?"
Have a beer. I would have a beer with Jon Gruden. He would be so much fun to just sit down and talk to.
I feel like he'd be the guy you go to like go for like a margaritas and tacos special with
at Chili's.
Yeah, no,
like
Applebee's guy. Jon Gruden's an Applebee's guy for sure.
He's belligerent, drunk at the end, and you're trying to get him not to fight someone walking out the door.
Jon Gruden's the ultimate
man.
like, hey man, I don't think you should drive. Like, give me your keys. And he's like, no, man, I'm good. And you're like, no, dude, let me get your keys, man. You're not driving. And then he just insists on it and ends up driving.
He punches you if you don't give him his keys. Oh, all right, Matt. Outro us.
Thank y'all for listening. We got a little scuffed here at the end, but we got more content on our website at southerndraw.substack.com, and we also have free content as well on all our socials. You can find us at Southern Draw Pod on socials. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars or click that like and subscribe button. Thank y'all for listening and have a great week.